Hello family, I want to tell you about my experience on the Norwegian Breakaway. The Norwegian Breakaway is a part of the Breakaway class that includes the Norwegian Getaway. The Norwegian Breakaway was built for service in 2013. So I want to tell you the good, the bad, the indifferent about what I thought. Also, I have a playlist of all the things that I did on the Norwegian Breakaway, such as the restaurants, the shows that I went to. I also did my room review as well. So can you go please check that out when you get a chance? So first things first, let's deal with Embarkation Day. And so granted, let it be known that this was the first time I've ever been on a Norwegian ship. And so this was just the first time I've ever had to experience it, what it is like. And so maybe your experience may be different from mine, but I just want to let you know what it is if you've never been on a Norwegian Breakaway at all. And so first off, I went on the ship. There was a big line outside trying to get onto the ship. And so when I got on the ship, I was trying to find my bearings, didn't know where I was, didn't know how to get to wherever it was. And so I found a negative in the fact that I asked a customer service person, an individual that was there, and I asked just a simple question as, when did the box office open? Because I was able to book one of the shows previously, but I could not book the other show on the app. So I wanted to be able to book the show before it was filled up. And so they told me that they did not know, two individuals did not know, and I had to go to the box office. In my experience on Embarkation Day, when you ask questions like that, people know the answers. They know when things will be open. They know how to direct you to the right question. If they did not know, they were oblivious of this question. Also, I was on the ship that they had the muster drill in place. Now they went back to the e-muster drill, so that's great for Norwegian. And so there were so many people that was in the theater. I was in the theater, and so many people were in the theater. I felt we were there more than 30 minutes, and I felt like this could have been time. I could have been exploring the ship. I could have been in my room getting ready to explore even more and get something to eat. And so we were in this theater for more than 30 minutes. And they were trying to make it light so that we don't get annoyed and aggravated. But I felt like we were in there too long. Instead of just shutting everything down, saying get to the station or wherever you need to right now, 15 minutes, and let's turn around and just get out of there. And so it was just a long period of time that I could have just been exploring the ship. And so also when it comes to customer service, I stayed in the solo cabin. And I stayed in the solo cabin, and I've looked at other YouTube videos. And when I looked at other YouTube videos, it showed that we had a concierge with us in the solo lounge, and this concierge would be able to book reservations for us. They would put things together so that the solo cruisers could have events, our own events. They would even have reserved places in the theater for the show so we could probably sit together. And so none of that was happening. I went to the customer service counter, asked them about it. They said that it was only something that was in the Haven. But I know personally somebody who has stayed in the solo lounge cabins, and they had a concierge. I also looked at the YouTube videos, and I knew that they had concierges in place. And so maybe post-pandemic, they decided to cut it out, but they were oblivious of the fact that at least one time or another that they had concierges in the solo lounge for the solo cruisers. So right there was some disconnect, I feel, customer service wise. Also, when it came to the layout, let's deal with the layout now of the cruise ship. There were certain places where it was so tight. There was so many people trying to move through the floors. It was incredibly tight, especially coming out of the muster drill. Everybody was going in different directions. Excuse me. It was just like sardines in a can. The casino is in the middle of the floor. on one of the decks, and even navigating, going from one side of the ship to go through the casino, there was not one specific walkway that you could just go from one through the casino. You have to navigate your way through the tables and through the slot machines just to get to the other side of the ship. So when you see it, you know that that's how the layout is. Also, the hallways are so narrow. Whenever the room stewards has their cart, you literally have to twist yourself to be able to get through to the other side of that cart. Even when people are walking together in the aisles of where your cabins are, it's still so tight. I've never seen a floor so tight in terms of the aisles when you're trying to go through and walk to get to the elevator. And so that was something different that I've never experienced that was on the Norwegian Breakaway. And so let us go now to dealing with demographics. And so with dealing with demographics, what I was surprised to see on the Norwegian Breakaway was the fact that how many different sets of people were on the ship. I've been told that when it comes to Norwegian, they have an older crowd, maybe more of a senior crowd. And that maybe because of the fact that I went in March and it was during spring break. They had individuals from 20s all the way up. And so it was varied kids, not a lot of kids, but there were kids as well there. And so I was surprised at the demographics. And so it was very different than what I was expecting. So maybe your experience during one of the Norwegian ships is that maybe you went during May, or maybe you went during January, or a different time when it was not spring break. And so maybe it was an older crowd. So please leave something in the comments and let me know during those times what you felt about the demographics of the ship in terms of the age groups of who were on the ship when you were on the ship. Now let's speak with entertainment. Because of the fact that I thought it was an older crowd and people have made comments that they didn't really have much things to do, maybe sewing, needling, things of that nature, maybe more arts and craft. When I tell you the entertainment on the ship was so lively, they had so much things to do every day. And so many hours of the day, they had things to do. They had Deal or No Deal. So I've done Deal or No Deal on Carnival, and they've only done it once for the week. They had it multiple times during Norwegian Breakaway. They had it several days in a row. And so Deal or No Deal, they had trivia, they had bingo, they had the Broadway shows, they had Burn the Floor, and they had Six, which I did reviews of. They had dueling pianos, they had comedians, they had theme parties, 80s, 90s, Lido Deck theme parties. They had the nightclub. They had so much things for you to do. There's no way that you could get bored. They also had musicians, they had bands, singers, and so there was a lot to do. And so I don't think if you go on the Norwegian Breakaway that you would be bored. And so it was just exciting. Like you didn't get bored at all. I didn't get bored to do any of the things that they had. One of the things though, the place that they had it though, a lot of the events, the trivia, it wasn't a big space, and it was just like in the middle, almost like the atrium area. And so it wasn't a big space, so a lot of people would probably have to stand up, or you'd have to, there's an overlooking area over that area on the next floor, so maybe you'd have to sit near to look over onto what's going on the next floor. But don't expect to necessarily get a seat if you want to be on that specific floor. So because they don't have a lot of things always in the theater, and so they do a lot of their shows. So for example, Deal or No Deal in Carnival would be in the theater. Deal or No Deal is in the area where they have all these events, right? They have the bands there, they have the trivia. So a lot of things and specific game shows that I've never seen anywhere else is on in that area specifically. So just let you be aware of that. When it comes to the food, what did I think about the food? I thought the food in the dining rooms were great. I thought it was so flavorful. Anytime I went to the dining rooms, I did not have an issue with my food. I don't think there was anything that I ate that I said, I don't care for this. The food was great in the dining rooms. When it came to the buffet, I don't think it was hit and miss. I thought that the buffets had good food. Maybe some things could have been hotter in temperature when you got to it, but I understand. But I thought the food in the buffet also was flavorful. And I thought they had a great variety between Indian food, between Asian cuisine, American food. I thought they had a great variety of different types of cuisines in the buffet itself. When it came to the specialty restaurants, now I did reviews of those. They are in my playlist. The specialty restaurants were hit and miss. It could be that in the specialty restaurant itself, there was one meal that was great and another course that was not so good, or just maybe overall that it was really great, or that nothing was really that good. So it really was hit and miss in the specialty restaurants. The problem with that is that if you're paying for a specialty restaurant, I would expect that the food would be great because you are paying for it. Even if you do the dining package, because you could do the dining package. And so a lot of these restaurants are a la carte, and you do a dining package that you pay for it, one set fee for several specialty restaurants. But it was hit and miss with the specialty restaurants. It was, some people may have liked one item, didn't like the other item. And so when you go there, let me know what you think about it. But I felt like the specialty restaurants were hit and miss. It was depending on what you had, depending on the restaurant that you went to. And so just be aware of the specialty restaurants. But the dining rooms were so great that even if you didn't do a specialty restaurant, even if I didn't do the specialty restaurant package, I thought I would have had a great dining experience just from the dining room itself. And so, having said that, let's deal with Debarkation. Debarkation was hectic. It was a hectic experience because I've never seen a debarkation where you literally went through a floor, then you had to go on the side, literally outside, on the deck of the ship, to come back into the ship, to go outside, finally go outside. Now, I personally had some money left over that they had to reimburse me. So instead of just getting off the ship, when I finally was almost there, there was an individual, so be aware of this, there was an individual that sent me to these two individuals that they set up right near them. And so therefore, they wanted to give you back your money before you got off the ship. So I was not aware of this, because other ships that I've been on, like Carnival and Princess, what they would do is, if you have a certain amount of money left over, that they would mail you a check. And so I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to worry about the lines going to customer service to get it before. I just knew that I would just be mailed a check. And so there was a line for this. And so therefore I had to wait now, because they would not let me off the ship until I got my money. And so, but I wish I would have known this, because maybe I would have went to customer service late at night and said like, okay, just cash me out. Give me the money maybe the night before, and just wait late when I knew there wasn't going to be a lot of people at the line. And so you're dealing with people who are waiting. You have people in front of you. And finally, I was able to show, listen, I got my money. They gave it to me in cash, and I was able to get off the ship. And so, but it was a little hectic. I've never seen a debarkation like that. Usually you go to a floor, when it's your time to get off the ship, you scan your ID, you're off the ship, you're gone. This one was almost like a race course. It was like all over the ship. It's almost like if you didn't explore the ship before, you got to explore it now. You got to see maybe parts of the ship that you've never seen, because of the way that they had this obstacle course just to get off the ship. And so that was my experience, the good, the bad, the indifferent, about Norwegian Breakaway. If you've been on it, let me know what you think about it. If you're going on it, let me know what you think about it. In the meantime, can you do me a favor, family? Can you like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to be informed of future posts? And until next time, happy travels.